In this video, we would like to presenting the translating Javanese cultural words for discourse analyzed in translation. This material based on novel Burung-Burung Manyar. Before we start, let me introduce our members. First, we have Suci Juwita Sari. Next, we have Rivo Yulianti Gusa. And the last, that was me, Ari Abram. Translating cultural words, the following section discuss how the cultural words are translated into English and highlight the constraint, condition, and motivation which have encouraged the translator to choose particular strategies. According to Neumark, culture is a way of life, and it is manifestation peculiar to one speech community. They share tradition, habits, way of doing things, and way of saying things. Neumark assert that transference block comprehensive at it, emphasize the cultural and exclude the message, while cultural competential analysis is considered the most accurate translation procedure as it excluded the culture and highlight the message, place, name, and the Japanese concept of time. The first type of culture words deal with ecology, which include geographical features, season, flora, and fauna. Places in Java are mostly named after the geographical feature dominant in the area. For example, Wono, its mean forest. Giri, Argo, Gunung, its mean hill. Kali, its mean river. And Jurang, its mean ravine or gorge. Thus, it is likely that Wonosobo is a forest area, while Gunung Kidul is a mountain area. And the next, about bird symbolism. Birds are often used as symbol of prosperity and metaphors of people characters and behavior as reflected in the Javanese love of birds and in using birds as nickname. And the next, about food, clothing, and housing. Each culture has a specific and unique expression of its cultural identity. Words such as serundeng, onde-onde ceplus, surjan, kopia, blandar, joglo are examples of typically Javanese cultural words regarding food, clothing, and housing. Linguistically and culturally, their words do not have one-to-one correspondent in another culture because their words uniquely represent the Japanese cultural.
This section will deal with translating political, social, legal, and religious organization, custom, and ideas. Indonesian regional administrations consist of hierarchical organizational structure down to the lowest community level. A village is usually headed by village head or lurah, helped by tamping, village head assistant, carik or clerk, duku or helm chief, and several community leaders. Cultural gestures and habits. The next section will be devoted to discussion of translating gestures and habits. These include words related to social gestures and habits such as punjungan. Punjungan is food sent over the government officials or the priai to show respect or thanksgiving on a special occasion. Wil Nyantran is culture occasion when people pay a visit and clean the graves of the family members before the fasting month of Ramadan. Terms of address. Term of address can be polite, impolite, friendly, unfriendly, or neutral. Members of a speech community of particular culture learn from their parents, their teacher, and their peers how to understand the world they live in, including what pronouns of others of politeness formulas to use when speaking to whom, when giving public lecture, when telling stories to friends and in other community contexts. Conversely, addressing younger people requests special terms of endearment such as genduk, tole, diajeng, or dimas, terms such as simbah, bapak, ibu, pakde, kang mas, tante, and mbak yu, or their diminutive form bah, pak, bu, kang, mas, mbak, are used to address people who are older than the speaker.
Translating poetic and figurative expressions. In addition to cultural words, the novel Burung-Burung Manyar contains poetic language and figurative expression, which are not easily translatable into English. This poetic language is created by means of poetic devices or rhetorical styles, which are unique since each language has its own specific and culturally bound rhetorical styles and conventions. Next, sounds, stress pattern, and rhythms. Sounds is a form of energy that can be heard and travel in waves. Next, there is onomatopoeia and metonymic reference. Onomatopoeia is a word that sounds just like the thing it is describing, and it is also one of the trickiest words in the English language to spell. The word onomatopoeia comes from the combination of two Greek words, one meaning name and the other meaning I make. So literally, onomatopoeia means the name or sound that I make. For example, splat, poing. Nah, both these words are onomatopoeic and they mean nothing more than what they sound like. Onomatopoeic words imitate sounds that you hear in everyday life. We can use onomatopoeia words whenever we're trying to describe a sound. Then, metonymic reference. Metonymy is a type of common metaphor used to call a thing not by its own name but by any reference associated with the name. It is based on the principle of substituting one word for another word within the same domain. Next, there is idiomatic expression and cliché. Idiomatic expressions are groups of words with an established meaning unrelated to the meanings of the individual words. Sometimes called an expression, an idiom can be very colorful and make a picture in our mind. Last but not least, cliché. A cliché is an expression, idea, or action that has been overused to the point of seeming worn out, stale, ineffective, or meaningless. It especially refers to common phrases and elements of art, such as a movie plot. There are some idiomatic expressions and clichés in Burung-Burung Manyar that are difficult to translate. This expression reflects the Javanese cultural philosophy. An example of idiomatic expression is exemplified in the following example. The idiomatic expression tanpa tedeng aling-aling literally means without hiding behind shield or cover. Thank you.